Guys, today we're going to talk about something that's really, really important in our circulatory system. If you haven't guessed what that is yet, it's your blood. Don't worry, we're not going to look at any real blood today, but we are going to talk about the different pieces and components of it that make up, what we need in order to survive. So first, why do we even need our blood? What does it help us do? Well, our blood helps us transport that oxygen and nutrients that we need for our cells. It helps us transport that throughout our whole body. It also helps us regulate our body temperature. Now, when we think about the word regulate, there was a word that we talked about at the very beginning of our unit, a really, really important word. Well, you got it? You've got it? If you said homeostasis, you got it right. Homeostasis is when we're maintaining a stable condition. So our blood, when it helps us regulate that body temperature, it's helping us regulate that stable condition within our body. So what makes up our blood? Did you know that it had different components? Our blood is made up of 4 very different components that all help, combine so that it can do its job that it needs to do within our body. Have you ever been to the doctor and had blood taken? Well, they take it out of your arm and they put it in a test tube and then they send it off to the lab. And you don't really see that part. But when they send it to the lab, they put it in this machine, they put that test tube into the machine called a centrifuge. And the centrifuge takes it and spins it around really, really, really quickly so that it can separate and we can see the 4 different components. So if we were to do that, we would see that 55% of that blood would be plasma, 44% of that blood would be your red blood cells, and 1% of that blood would be both your white blood cells and your platelets. And we're going to talk about each one of those in a little bit more detail. So first up, we've got our plasma, aka the transporter. This is just a nickname that Ms. Gunter gave it so that maybe it can help you remember what its job is. So the plasma, aka our transporter, is the liquid part of our blood. This is what helps your blood flow nicely and smoothly throughout your body. Most of it is water, but yet it contains some nutrients that your cells need. It makes up 55% of your blood. So this is over majority of what your blood is made out of. Second, we've got our red blood cells, and this is probably the most common to what you might know. I've named it our big players because they're really, really crucial for getting that oxygen to our cells. So our red blood cells are what carry oxygen from the lungs all the way to cells, whether it be at your tippy toe or at the very top of your head. But there's a really important word that we need to know about our red blood cells. It's a protein called hemoglobin. If you need to write this, star it, circle it, highlight it, whatever you need to do to remember that you need to study what hemoglobin is. Hemoglobin is a protein that binds with oxygen, so it attaches itself to an oxygen molecule, and it makes our cells bright red. So this is how we get that oxygen in our blood. This is how it attaches to it. Your red blood cells make up 45% of your blood. Very, very important. Almost half of your blood is made of your red blood cells. Also, I want to take this moment to talk about what color is our blood. So we kind of talked about this in class when we were looking at the model of our heart. Our blood is red. No matter if it's in your body, out of your body, it's always red. Okay? We just use the blue to help differentiate what's deoxygenated and what's oxygenated. So for all you Pac fans out there, remember that we always bleed red. All right, next up we have our white blood cells, aka the disease patrol. These are what help search and fight off infectious diseases in your blood. So think about how much you touch germs every day, whether you're opening the handle to a door, whether you're touching your desk at school, you're borrowing a pencil. All of those germs make it into our body. Either we're breathing them in, so things in the air, or we don't wash our hands and we touch our mouth, or somehow they're getting into our body. our white blood cells are crucial in helping fight off all of those infections that could potentially harm us. So they're really, really important, even though they make up less than 1% of your blood. So important, but don't make up the majority of it. They are also a lot larger than your red blood cells. So if you look at the picture, remember in our model we did the Mento compared to the bead. So the size of a Mento compared to the size of a bead. A lot of a size difference, okay? So even though they make up less than that, they still are really important. Last but not least, we have our platelets, aka the click. So this isn't the click of your mouse or a click of the phone. This is a click. So a group of people that stick really, really close together. So I related that back to your platelets because this is what helps you form your blood clots. So also a really, really important part of your blood and a component that keeps us, from bleeding out. Your platelets are made of small pieces of cells that stick together at the side of a cut vessel. So if for one reason either your artery or your vein or your capillary got cut, your platelet's going to go to work. They're going to start sticking together to help form a protection so that your blood doesn't keep coming out. They also make up less than 1% of your blood, so not a big majority part of it. So we've got 4 components of blood. We know that our blood is red, and we know that these 4 components play a very, very important role in maintaining what? Homeostasis. You've got it.